Greetings and welcome to another Tomorrow's World webcast. My name is Wallace Smith and it's wonderful to have you here. The article I want to talk about today, we're going to start talking about politics, but we're not going to end there. Here on Tomorrow's World, we're not concerned with politics. We're concerned with right and wrong, with what God says and with what He doesn't say, and how our culture is responding or not responding. This article in New York Magazine got my attention. I need to give a hat tip to Albert Mohler. It was actually his website that clued me into this fantastic essay. I say fantastic in terms of its clarity and power, not because I agree with everything, by Rebecca Traister. Is in New York Magazine, February 22nd, 2016. The title of the article is The Single American Woman. And let me just let her start things off in her early paragraphs. She writes here, in 2009, the proportion of American women who were married dropped below 50%. In other words, for the first time in American history, single women, including those who were never married, widowed, divorced, or separated, outnumbered married women. Perhaps even more strikingly, the number of adults younger than 34 who had never married was up to 46%. Rising 12 percentage points in less than a decade. For women under 30, the likelihood of being married has become astonishingly small. Today, only around 20% of Americans ages 18 to 29 are wed, compared to nearly 60% in 1960. That is, she calls this a radical upheaval, and it is. This is like a cataclysm, frankly, in our culture. Everything is changing. The bedrock of who we are is changing. And her point here, mostly her point, it's really a big article, but she talks about how is that affecting our politics? How is that affecting the decisions that are being made? How is it affecting the national debate, whether it's about birth control, whether it's about abortion, whether it's about K through 12 education and mandating that preschool somehow be made available to mothers and such for young children. And I don't even want to get into all the politics. I just want to recognize, one, that this is indeed cataclysmic. For us to think that our society is not radically changing, you'd have to be delusional to suspect that's not the case. But also her comment as to how this is happening, and just grabbed my attention and wouldn't let me go. She writes, still, the rise of the single woman is an exciting turn of historical events because it entails a complete rethinking of who women are and what family is and who holds dominion within it and outside it. Then she adds a parenthetical comment. It might seem as though the journey toward legal marriage for gays and lesbians is at odds with this trend, but it is part of the same dismantlement of the power structure on which the traditional institution was built. I actually don't think that I could have said it better myself. I'm not saying that I agree with everything in this article, but those words are so completely true. That really is what all of this is about. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some sort of very strong feminist statements there that kind of see it as male oppression and the rest. But the fact is, that is what all of this is about. Dismantling of the power structure that was fundamental to marriage. But what I don't know that she recognizes is what truly is the power structure behind marriage. What truly is the foundation of marriage. Jesus Christ made it crystal clear in Matthew chapter 19, verses 4 through 6. He says, and he answered and said to them, have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore what God has joined together, let not man separate. It is God who has joined man and woman together in marriage. So if we're going to talk about dismantling the power structure, we're talking about dismantling God's role in creating that structure. I think that hits the nail absolutely on the head. I actually don't agree with her in that. Let's be clear. The changes that are happening in our society, they're not fundamentally coming from a move to equality. They're not fundamentally coming from some sort of increased fairness for all people and all these other kinds of things we tend to hear. They're coming from a move away from having God and His desires at the foundation of our society. They're coming from a society that chooses to completely expel God from consideration. And sadly, God is going to give that society exactly what it asks for. Thank you for watching, and I do hope you'll consider everything we have to offer at tomorrowsworld.org.